Dear students, all of you sit straight, your backs absolutely straight, your eyes closed. Gently taking just a minute, sit comfortably relaxed, inviting your senses to relax. Meet them as friends. Appreciate the work they do. You now choose to give them a break. Imagine closing the motorways of your senses. Your thoughts begin to slow down. Your mind becomes clear. For a few moments, nothing is moving. Your mind is free, resting. You now return with clarity. Slowly and gradually, open up your eyes, rub your hands, gently pat them over your eyes. A very good afternoon. And since we're doing a unit on our culture, so a big namaste to all my dear students and my dear teachers who are present in today's class. There's a beautiful thought which certainly needs to be shared because I believe this is the right platform and absolutely the right circumstance where we should be actually studying about this. And moreover, it is related to again our culture, that is Lord Buddha. Now, once Lord Buddha was asked, you meditate so much, you're all about meditation, you gain enlightenment by this meditation. You are actually called Buddha because Buddha means the enlightened one. What have you gained from so much of meditation? He replied, nothing. I have not gained anything. But I would like to tell you what I have lost. And what I've lost has actually made me what I am today. That is anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age, and death. I've lost all this out of my body, out of my mind. And what has resulted? I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a happy soul. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to give away. And this is the ultimate path of salvation. So, my dear students, so whenever you meditate, just take a minute, meditate in such a way that once you open your eyes, you are a relaxed soul. Quickly coming up to the journal instructions. Please, no audios, no videos. Rename yourself. You know the sequence very well. Name, admission number, class and section. Any queries you have, please, you're free to mail me at vanibansal@lancersconvent.net. And the most important thing, maintain the decorum and discipline. I request everyone quickly to set up. I don't want anyone lying down lazily under the pressure of your teachers. You're listening, attending the class. No. I want all of you listening out of enthusiasm. After half an hour to 40 minutes, when you leave the class, I want you people to know and actually enlighten yourself something with things which you were not aware of. Irrespective, that belongs to whichever stream, and you are a part of whichever stream. So, once again, welcome to the second session of our journal studies class. As all of you know, that we have discussed everything. Remember, do not ignore, your post-scholastic area, you happen to get E grade in any of the three areas of post-scholastic: general studies, health, physical, and your work experience, believe me, my dear children, what all hard work you have been putting up in the scholastic area stands to be zero. So please be very, very attentive. You're all aware, all I've discussed this with you. We're going to cover all these units in the forthcoming classes, which will be taken by different teachers at different time. So all this will be taught to you to make you people a much more aware person. Again, do not forget this is an integral part of our culture. Namaste, which means I bow down all my egos and I greet you with love and humility. We're discussing the cultural heritage of India. We're discussing one of the most proud part of our country, our actual identity when you call yourself to be an Indian. Being Indian doesn't mean just having a PAN card, a passport, Aadhaar copy. That doesn't mean you are an Indian. No. Indian means, yes, having a pride of whatever your country, your ancestors, your past has offered you. You're not here as a science, as I told you, you're not here as a science or a commerce or a humanities child. You're here to actually update yourself with those things which maybe your stream might not offer you. You're a doctor, you're an engineer, all that is later on. But first of all, you are an Indian who should be knowing about your country. You know all about physics, you know all about accounts, chemistry, all the subjects. You are one of the scholars of the school, of the college. But when we talk about journal things, you have no idea. It makes no sense. There's a very, famous quote I would like to really saying, which I like to quote here: marks alone do not make a man. Remember this. Just by being an intelligent person in your particular area, in your stream, will not alone actually make you a perfect man. For calling yourself a complete human being, you need to have a lot of other things along with your basic etiquettes, your humbleness, your down to the earth attitude. It's all important to groom yourself, your personality in overall direction, right? So we had been discussing quickly here again. See, this is our culture. We discussed. I showed you this. I'll be very soon showing you a beautiful video on our culture too. But let us just go. Then we discuss certain facts in the last class, right? So remember, we have many things in our country for which we should be very, very proud, right? So, again, I request before you plan to leave the country, remember what all this country has done for you. We've given you the best of education, we have given you an identity, we've given you a rich culture, we've given you a rich, rich heritage, right? So, do not utilize your education by working out on the economy of other countries. When you leave the country and go, you actually enhance the economy of the countries outside. You get the best here in schools and colleges, and when it comes to serve the country, you plan you're going out. Why? Because of the salary packages. No, no, no. Please. You have seen how your honorable prime minister has been every time going to foreign countries and requesting all the NRIs, please come back. Utilize your fund, utilize your knowledge for our country, for our progress. You saw what has happened in this pandemic. We've lost more than 500 health workers. Maybe the figure might have risen now. The latest figures I had was more than 500 health workers, the top shot doctors, nurses. We lost them in pandemic in UK. They had been staying in UK for past so many years, serving that country. And when today, when they are dead, there's no one. There's no one to ask. They had the best here. They went there and they served that country. And this is just not one example. Lakhs and lakhs of people are settled abroad. Have you ever seen any person coming from abroad and studying here? Have you ever seen No. Do you find anyone in your schools and colleges? Hardly, if they are the exceptional cases. Then why should we do that? And that too for a country which has given us so much. The best of the residential universities you saw came up in India, right from Takshila to Nalanda to Vikramsheel. We are the one who hosted in this world the best education system, the first ever residential universities. And once again, class, welcome to the class of culture of India. It refers to the way of the life of the people, and our life is an amalgam of so many different dynasties, so many different rules we had in India. Our languages, our dances, our music, architecture, food, custom, my God, they differ from place to place. And here we're going to explore the reason why there is so much of difference and why are we so rich in every aspect. You talk about meditation, you talk about yoga, you talk about music, cuisines. Yes, many things have come out of our country. That is why we are incredible India, the tagline of your tourism industry. Now, yes, last class I discussed with you the evolution of the Indian culture. Again, a proud moment as India had been a hub of one of the oldest urbanized and an elaborative civilization. Civilization in Hindi means sabhyata, when man actually learned the art of settling down, man learned the art of urbanization, town planning, believe it, we were the best. The artifacts, again, I said you showed you. Have a look on the picture given on the right hand side. Look at some of the specimens of art and craft, whom we in history call as artifacts. See the artifacts, see the spot, see these spots, elongated pot, see the jewelry part. What is not used today? Even today, also everything is used. And approximately the civilization came up in this period. That is, we are talking about such an old period. God knows, it's all assumption. We are not sure about it. 3300 BCE, and we are in 21st century CE. So we can imagine years and years back, 3000 years back, maybe 4000 years back, your ancestors were so smart. They learned the proper use of water, how to utilize water, and gradually they laid down the foundation of our culture. They went away, the civilization declined, but they left behind a stamp of an evolution of culture. This is the beginning, this was the beginning from here. Our lives were going to be shaped up. Now, gradually, one by one, after the civilization is gone. Then again, as you can see here, this is our civilization all gone, but what is left really makes you feel proud. So many years back, look at the town planning, look at the quality of the bricks, look at the engineering skills, look at the beauty with which these people taught us how to construct our houses, taught us the concept of privacy, they taught us the concept of neatness, hygiene by giving the world an excellent drainage system. And look at this in the second picture how busy people were in Harappan civilization. They knew a proper use of agriculture, they knew how to domesticate animals and how animals can be utilized in the field of agriculture. And as you know, agriculture was their main economic activity. They domesticated and grew all sort of crops. They even knew how to grow cotton, and that is the reason they knew how to wear clothes. The artifacts which we have found, we find them laden up with certain clothes which might have been probably being made out of cotton. So Harappan civilization laid down the foundation of our culture. They spoke, but what they spoke, we have not been able to understand that. They wrote, But again, what they wrote, we have not been able to decipher. We have found seals, we have found certain objects on which things were written, but we have not understood. But that's okay. We try to understand from the pictures made what they wanted to convey, but certainly the roots have been laid down. And then from civilization to the coming of, this greatest ever another dynasty in our country, Mughal Empire. In between this whole period, from civilization to Mughals, we had so many other dynasties coming up. We had the coming of Aryans. We had the coming of some marvelous and exemplary strong dynasties. We had Guptas, we had Shakas, we had Kushanas, and every dynasty laid down their contribution in our society, because there were so many dynasties which came from some other part of the world. They brought in the tradition of their country in our country. Like for example, Kanishka, the greatest ever Kushana ruler we had. It is believed probably they came from Central Asia, that is from Afghanistan side, and they gave us idea of gumboots and tunic, that is a long coat. And we Indians, if you talk about we Indians, we people were just familiar actually with sari or dhoti. Men were supposed to wear dhoti, and ladies were supposed to wear saris. That was what was in our culture. But with the coming of these people, something new came in. And this is what we are discussing Mughals also all about. As you know, Mughals. Again, let me tell you, class, Mughals were never Indian dynasty. Mughals were altogether a dynasty which came from outside, again, Central Asia. They were actually, this word has come from Mongols. Mongols were actually turned into Moguls. Mogul. And from Moguls, we actually took it to be Mughals. But in between this whole period, remember, taking up everything is not going to be possible. It will turn out to be very elaborated. But just remember, Gupta was the golden period of Indian history. We had Kalidasa, we had Shushruta, we had Aryabhatta, we had Bharamira, we had Charaka, we had Ayurveda coming out at this time. We learned the concept of zero, we learned the concept of decimal system. We had the stories of Panchtantra being written down at this time. And before Guptas, we had Jataka tales being written down. And till today, all these things are revered. Aryabhat is taken as an example, is revered in the, by the scientists. Undoubtedly, he was a great, great mathematician. What all has not been, then we had some beautiful temples being made during this time. We had another UNESCO World Heritage Sites being created. They never created thinking that in today's time they are going to be a part of the World Heritage Site. No. Ashoka went ahead and started with the construction of Sanchi Stupa. Now, he never constructed Sanchi that he has to actually make it a site. He just made it out of sheer dedication and devotion towards Buddhism. Similarly, we had some Ajanta and Ellora caves coming up. For the first time, India saw rock-cut cave temples. Within inside the earth, rocks were hollowed out and then temples were created. Although with such old age temples, which are actually gradually getting destroyed with time. Our ASI is taking complete care, but still, it is actually partially closed for the tourists because the wall has started to coming down, the ceiling is coming down, and the statues are getting damaged. So partially it is open for the tourists who want to come and visit as a beautiful site. Again, one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site we have. So every person who came, either from outside or from inside India, contributed their share to our country. Now here, Mughals, when they came up, Babur never came to your country to rule here. It's an entire total story. Zaharuddin Babur. He comes from a place in Afghanistan called Fargana. He came to India just to take away the riches. And he came on the invitation of Daulat Khan Lodi, who wanted to defeat Ibrahim Lodi and give him the throne. because Babur was a very, very strong ruler in Central Asia. And you know what? Babur belonged to such a family which will actually give you goosebumps. From his paternal side, he belonged to Genghis Khan's family. And from maternal side, he belonged to Timur's family. Both Genghis Khan and Timur, these were actually one of the most barbarous invaders you had. They were known for bloodshed, Genghis Khan and Timur. There's a very famous saying about Genghis Khan. His sword actually looked red. It had turned to be red. Why red? Because in a day he was known for massacring nothing less than 10 to 15,000 people. Do you understand? 10 to 15,000 massacre of people in a day. Genghis Khan has a record. And Timur, you know what, students? He just had one leg. He just had one leg. Yes, he was lame. If you go and read some of the comics of Timur, it's Timur the Langada bulate hain use. One leg. But with one leg, this man was a terror. He was a terror for people. And Baba belonged to such a family. He had roots, both paternal and maternal this way. So when Baba was about to enter the country, to fight a war with Ibrahim Lodi, this was another historic battle fought. You might have heard the first battle of Panipat. Babur fought this battle, but he was betrayed in this battle by Daulat Khan Lodi. I'll not go in the depth of this, but just remember he was betrayed by Daulat Khan Lodi, and as a result, Babur now decided not to go from this country, but to establish a dynasty here. And he never knew he was about to establish one of the most glorious and one of the most dynamic dynasty, not only for your country, but in the entire world. Luxurious dynasty. So Babur lays down the foundation, and very unknowingly, India is about to undergo a drastic political, economic, religious, and social cultural changes. You can have a look here. Just leaving, come to the right hand side. See here, right hand side, just leave this part which I'm actually coloring with yellow here. That is South India. Leave that part, little part of India, and look at the size of the Mughal Empire. The entire peach, yellow, whatever colors you see is all Mughal Empire. And here is the list of the greatest ever Mughal rulers we had. Babur will die very soon, and he will be taken over by his son Humayun. Humayun was known as luckless leader. He's known as to be very, very precise Bechara in the Mughal dynasty. Because it's very unfortunate what all happened with him. After Humayun, let me tell you, students, Mughal dynasty will be uprooted and we will have Sher Shah Suri establishing Sur Empire. But Sher Shah Suri, remember? Any idea about Sher Shah Suri? The man who gave you Rupaya, the man who gave you the first road, GT Karnal Road, जिसे कहते हैं, was the first road made by Sher Shah Suri. The system of including excise and custom duties were introduced by Sher Shah Suri. The man behind the postal system of India was Sher Shah Suri. So very proudly, historians call him the reformer. But unfortunately, very soon, Sur Empire was finished, uprooted, and once again, Humayun established the Mughal dynasty. Second phase, but as you know, he was luckless, he had no luck. He died immediately after again becoming the ruler. He died from falling from the stairs of Purana Killa. He was an ardent reader, he loved to read. He went to the library upstairs, and while coming down, he slipped down and he went into coma. And few days he succumbed. He died. When he died, this greatest ever ruler of the world, Akbar, Jalaluddin Akbar, was just 3 years old. Now, naming such a small child as a successor was very difficult. So, in place, Akbar was given the crown, but being very small, the things were taken in the hands of the trusted friend of Humayun, Behram Khan. But then there was no stopping for Akbar. He turned out to be the best ruler of Mughal dynasty of the world, and historians give him the title the Great, followed by his pampered son, spoiled brat known as Salim, who took over the title Jahangir, the man who married the most beautiful woman, according to the historians of the Mughal rule, that is Meher Unnisa, who got a name after marriage as Noor Jahan. And now, students, let me tell you, what did Noor Jahan do? Noor Jahan gave you your traditional dresses, your bandgala, your achkans, your salwar, your churidars, sherwanis, anarkalis, all was introduced by Noor Jahan. The system of carpets, chandeliers, curtains, royalty, luxury. This is what Noor Jahan gave. She changed the entire dress and wardrobe of the Indian women. She was an updated fashion protagonist of that time, Noor Jahan. So whatever you wear, your bridal attire, whatever you wear, is all a part of that. You might have seen your mothers going for different designs in the schools, anarkalis it with layers and bandkalas and all that. This is all given by this. All your sherwanis designing everything. It's all Mughlai dressing. And then you had another greatest ever ruler coming here, that is Shah Jahan. Real name Prince Khurram. He was Prince Khurram who took the title Shah Jahan, known for all the beautiful, marvelous buildings this man went ahead and created. Taj Mahal, Lal Killa, Jama Masjid, Moti Masjid. These are just few of the names for this man. And so many are a part of your UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Again, he see here, master builder. And then comes the last of the greatest Mughals. I'm saying last of the greatest Mughals, not the last ruler. After Aurangzeb, also you're going to have more than 100 rulers coming and ruling in quick succession. Those rulers are known as later Mughals. Aurangzeb, the intolerant, he didn't tolerate anyone, who made Mughals very unpopular. He hated Rajputs, he hated every single Hindu. He's known for assassinating the ninth Guru of the Sikh, that is Guru Tegh Bahadur. He went ahead and executed him. He went ahead and cut down his head. In Delhi itself, you have the Gurudwara, and his day is celebrated as Shahidi Divas. And even Jahangir went ahead and assassinated the fifth Guru of the Sikh, that is Guru Arjan Dev. Everything has a story, but let's not go into depth. If I start telling you the stories, there are innumerable stories to be told. But the thing which we need to see here, you can have a look at all these six rulers. They're absolutely in the order as they should be here. Now, let me just tell you, class, these people changed our eating habits. These were the people who introduced the use of spices in the food. These were the people who taught us how to use dry fruits in our cuisine. If you've ever happened to be in a restaurant which is serving you something Mughlai, first of all, you're going to see the prices are awesome, sky touching prices. Secondly, when you order, that's going to be loaded with cashews, with raisins, because that's Mughlai, that's the way they eat, along with a lot of cloves, teज pata, and all that stuff. Because these people used to have that, they used to relish. It was a royal food, dry food, putting dry fruits in the dishes. You can imagine. And you know what? Under Akbar, every day, history tells us more than 150 dishes were cooked every single day. More than 150 dishes were cooked. And then there was a team of chefs which used to work in shifts. Every day this team used to change. That team of chefs used to just get chance once in a week to cook the food for the royalty. And not only that, the kitchen where they used to work, that was a rasoda, royal rasoda, rasoi se rasoda, big form of kitchen. And then every day there was one queen of Akbar who they used to roster of the queens, and that queen used to be in the kitchen looking after all the dishes and the making and the ingredients being used. And once the food was ready, then that food was tasted by a team of people. They used to taste all the dishes which are going to be served to the king. And once they tasted, 10 to 15 minutes, there used to be a waiting time. And once the king was okay, then it was further to the king. This was to check whether there's some poison or not, because he was the great ruler. He had a lot of enemies. You talk about the royalty, students, even the footwear they used to wear, they had rubies and emeralds studded in their footwear, in their cufflinks. This is the royalty, this is the culture, this is all what we are. This all has been given. And then finally, Jahangir was the man to invite the Britishers to our country, come trade with us, teach us, because the you Britishers were the masters in industrial revolution in Europe, and Jahangir wanted India also to flourish, but he never knew these are the people who will first trade in our country for 200 years, and then they will overtake the Mughals, and finally Bahadur Shah Zafar was imprisoned at Red Fort by the Britishers, and Britishers and the company, East India Company, took over our country. And thereafter, for the few coming years, God, more than 200 years, now we are going to go in the domination of the British rule here. But class, as I've always told you one thing, always remember in life, don't try to every time look for negative. With every negative, there will be some positive. It is up to us whether we see that positive thing or not. Why am I saying so? Undoubtedly, we lost our independence, we lost our respect, we lost our dignity under the Britishers. Indians and dogs, they were kept at the same level outside the British golf courses, clubs, restaurants. You used to have a tagline written, Indians and dogs not allowed. So you can imagine what was our reputation. But the good thing, undoubtedly good thing, we modernized, we developed because of these people. It was their greed to trade in India. And for better trading, it was their greed to bring in railways. But bringing that railways transformed us. It gave us, we Indians, a new look. Otherwise, what? We people were very simple people, clad up in dhotis and kurtas. When these people came from abroad, all dressed up smartly in trousers and shirts, you know, we Indians were taken aback. And for the first time, when these goods were sold in our markets, Indians love to purchase. And you know what? The shirts were known as, they were known as bush shirts. They was not known as shirts, bush shirts. And every Indian who wore a shirt and a trouser was called as a babu. English babu, Angrezi babu lag raha hai. They wanted, we wanted to look like them. We wanted to dress up like them. But somewhere in this process, we forgot. End of the day, Swadeshi, our khadi. This is what your Prime Minister told yesterday. Get vocal, but be local. That means it's time stop purchasing Chinese goods and other things and start using Indian made goods now. So here also, let's remember some good things they did. In order to improve our society, these were the people who went ahead and actually tried to improve the society, the Britishers. All sort of social evils, female infanticide, Female infanticide is killing the girl child immediately she's born, just because she is a girl. And what is the problem of being a girl? A girl means collecting and saving money because she has to get married. She has to be given dowry, kanyadan, all what came out from your past. So she was a burden. If she has not been, we have not killed her in the, in the womb. Let's kill her when she comes out. Within the womb, when the baby girl was killed, that was female feticide. This was infanticide. Child marriages, marry off at a younger age. Sati, if a lady has lost her husband, she's inauspicious. She needs to be burned alive with on the pyre of her husband. And then polygamy, a man having innumerable wives. All these social evils were a big taboo for our society. So here we had a lot of legal measures and other strategies being opted by the Britishers, and these were some of the greatest ever reformers of our Indian society. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Vivekanand, Bhimrao Ambedkar. Here we have Phule, Baba Amte, Mother Teresa, many more in the queue who really worked in wonders to improve the condition of women. Education, yes. Thanks to the Britishers, we speak the language of the world today. We speak the language of the world today. If you remember in one of the facts I told you, Hindi is not a national language. हमारी मातृभाषा हिंदी है, नहीं है हमारी मातृभाषा हिंदी. It is a long pending debate in the courts till date. Because when our constitution was being written down, it was a big debate which was taken up. As a result of that, Dhulekar, the greatest ever vocal speaker we had at that time, R.V. Dhulekar, he refused to accept Hindi as an official language. He was after the light that Hindi should be the national language. But there were other leaders who said we have to take care of everyone. If you go down deep in South India, people have a great problem in understanding Hindi and they do not know how to speak Hindi. So, how can you make this a national language? Students, if you are in Tamil Nadu, if you are in Kerala, let me tell you, you just need to have a sign language or English. These are the only two ways you can communicate with those people. They have a tough time in understanding our language, Hindi. So how could in such circumstances we could declare Hindi to be a national language, and this particular clause of making Hindi as a national language is still pending after years of independence. And Britishers very soon realized Indians had an excellent IQ level when Dwarka Nath Tagore cleared the first ever civil service exam. And they decided now English needs to be introduced so that the students are well versed in English, and these Indians can be picked up and they can be sent to Britain and they can work there and bring in revenue for our country. Students, do you see the master plan? This is what I say. Learning here, getting the best here, going out working, please. A big no. You owe responsibility to your country. You have your rights towards your country, your duties towards your country. So do not leave them unattended and simply go away. And then back in some country, you sit and criticize. Oh my God, look at the traffic of our country. Look at the hygiene. Oh my God, look at this place. This is so beautiful. Dubai is so good. I keep listening. So many. The things are so good. The things are like that. And our country, why is our country like this? Because of people like us. So before criticizing, always think what have we done for this country. So here you have English being introduced in all the universities of Calcutta, Madras, and not only that, even at the school level, to actually make Indians well versed with English language. And as told you, British idea of freedom, equality, liberty, and human rights, along with Western education, it actually resulted in massive socio-religious reform movements and had a great impact in the society. So remember, these people, if they dominated our lives, at the same time, they did something knowingly, unknowingly, which helped in the upliftment of our society. So they tend to change our culture too in this process. They gave us a new language, they gave us a new clothing, they gave us new cuisines, new etiquette, table manners, and all that came along with these people. Okay, class. So the evolution of the culture under so many people, so many different types of dynasties, rules we have seen resulted in so many beautiful elements of our culture. So let us take up, as you can see the screen, the first element, that is music and dance. India, a land of vibrant colors, dances, not one dance, innumerable dances. And you know what? All over the world, we people host cultural dance programs because we have so much to show to the world. So, beginning with first the classical dances of India. Number one, Kathakali comes from Kerala. As you can see, look at the faces, plus how much kgs and kgs of weight they carry in this dance performance. It's enormous weight. The entire headgear to the costumes these people wear while performing this is very, very heavy. Second very famous dance, classical dance form is Bharatnatyam. This is from Tamil Nadu. And look at the dancing postures. Look at the costume. Look at the beauty, how they actually adorn themselves with all these finery, with accessories. Then you have another very famous dance, Odissi dance, coming from Odisha. Then Kathak, a very contemporary and a very old dance from Uttar Pradesh. There are many dance forms, dance schools all over the country, and you are going to find Banaras being the home to Kathak. You have innumerable gharanas which teach you this art of dance, beautiful art of dance. Kathak, which comes from Uttar Pradesh. Remember, class, Kathak, Kathakali. They are two different things. One is from Kerala, one is from Uttar Pradesh. Then again, another dance form coming from Kerala, Mohini Attam. This is actually a dance performance, especially performed only on the occasions of Onam, the harvest festival of Kerala. And another dance from Kuchipudi, coming from Andhra Pradesh. It is basically performed always in a pair, a man and a woman are required. And look at this. All these dance forms actually they structure around the nine rasas or emotions. All these, if you happen to see our annual day, which took place a few months back, it was Navrasas. We showed the nine emotions. These emotions are actually a part of every single human being. We have so many emotions. We have the emotion of Shingara, Veer, Rodra, Bhyanak, Vibhatsa, Karuna. सारी चीजें हैं हमारे अंदर. It's all, we are about all these. When we get angry, that's our Rodra root. When we are strong enough, that's Veer root. When we are scared, that's terrified, that's Bhyanak, something we have seen in our lives. When we have compassion for someone, that's Karuna. When we are peaceful, that's Shanti does. When we feel like, doing a little makeup or something, getting ready, that's Shringaras, using flowers, using all various accessories. So these are the different emotions. And these emotions are shown in these classical dances here. All these emotions are actually shown in these classical dance. The second form of dances of India are the folk dances. Now, folk dances are basically the dances which are related to one particular state. Classical dances can be performed by anyone here, right? Folk dances are actually related to a particular state and they're basically celebrated to mark the harvest festival, right? So here you have the first folk dance, a very famous folk dance. I know many of you might be, you feel like stomping your feet. So it's a Bhangra from Punjab, very famous. Another Ghumar from Rajasthan. You just need to sway yourself. You need to clockwise. You need to just move and move. And this is another beautiful folk dance coming from Rajasthan. Then Jhumar dance from Haryana. Another very, a dance full of life, full of vigor you have. Then another beauty, many of the times on 26th January, during the parade, you happen to see this dance, a very famous dance of Assam, Bihu dance. Many of the girls might have performed in their early classes. Lavani from Maharashtra, with the help of trapeziums and lasiums, you perform this beautiful dance. Lavani, a typical Maharashtrian dance form. Then you have Garba. With the help of the sticks, we perform this, especially it's visible during the Navratri. We have these dance forms being performed, and in all the dance forms, you can have a look here. The beauty, the color, vibrancy of a country, one country, talking only about one country, and look at the levels and levels of varieties and differences we have in the steps, in the costumes, in the names, everything. And what is the importance of the folk dances? Folk dances are basically very simple and perform to express your joy for the arrival of seasons, birth of a child, wedding, and festivals. In Punjab, the harvest festival has just passed off, that is Baisakhi. Then we have Bihu, we have this Onam, Pongal. All these are your harvest festivals. It's a celebration in the villages. In Kerala, Onam is a 1 week long festival season. You have innumerable boat races. You have these dance performances. You have innumerable competitions. People celebrate. They don't work. It's a holiday time. In Karnataka, it's Vishu. They celebrate Vishu. There's so many things. You even might not be knowing about these things also. When you go, especially in these villages, attend some weddings and festivals, then you will realize these are all performed there. Classical are performed all over India and even in the world stages also. In the entire world, our classical dances are a craze for the foreigners. But the folk dances, they're actually peculiar, only confined to our particular states. Then you have the Indian music, you know, beautiful. Music can heal anything. Long time back, it was declared music is the best healer. Best healer. It's proven big problems can be solved. Patients with disease like cancer who have been suffering, they have actually healed themselves with the help of this word called music. The seven notes, which are actually the root of the entire music of the world. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni. These are the seven notes. Who gave it? We Indians gave it to the world. They originated from India. They're the base for the entire rock music. They're the base for the entire jazz music. Everywhere, we people have actually laid down the roots for this. And not only for the music class, let me tell you, even our ancient most language, Sanskrit, is the mother of all the languages in the world. Pick up any word in Sanskrit and start comparing it with all the languages, any two languages for that matter, any two languages of the world, and you're going to see almost the same pronunciation as it is done in Sanskrit, with a little difference in the phonetic style. So here, in the next class, I'll be taking you to the music, architecture, and handicrafts part. As I can see, time is going off. And the next class only, I'll show you the video too about our culture. So please be proud of what you are. be proud of all the hard work which our ancestors, which our people did to get us this freedom, this independence, to bring up and build up the strong nation of the, you know, in fact, it is in the coming times, we can see India is going to become one of the most powerful nation of the world. It has taken time, but it's okay. Nothing is too late. The world is now seeing India as a major challenge. Believe me, wait and watch for another few years. India is going to change very soon. And then the last, again, leaving you with the thought of Buddha: stay calm, stay peaceful, and you will be a happy and peaceful soul.